Welcome everyone. Happy New Year if you have just celebrated New Year. Moving into 2020, I've just literally written this on. If you're wondering why it's disappeared from the readings, I've done this entire thing backwards. It's just how Spirit wanted it to come through. So I'm hoping there's some intuitive, helpful, guiding medicine messages for you guys. 4 piles, so you pick group 1, group 2, group 3 or group 4. This is for January 2020, and yeah, I just hope there's some messages in there for you. We all need a bit of guidance and a bit of help, and it's just another way, for me, a really, really fun way of Spirit bringing through those intuitive messages, which we can all do for each other. And the deepest purpose of my channel is to continually bring you into deeper connection with your own higher self, your own knowing, and wherever Spirit can add an additional nudge through me, then I just feel absolutely blessed to be able to do that for you. So thank you for being here, and let's get on with the readings. Welcome, group 1, first out the gate, number 1 for January. And Happy New Year for all of those who just celebrated New Year, or maybe you're watching this in December, getting ready for a great start to the year. So the first thing I've done is this intuitive sketch for everybody. So this is all the groups. I'm seeing very much a womb space, the chalice space, Holy Grail, whatever those things might mean to you personally. And we've got these little buds, and they really wanted to come out as 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Something about lots of unfurling in January. Well, actually, yeah, not even that yet. Still, all these little buds of promise. Everything's still encased up. And that's really coming through for you, particularly group 1. So everyone had a slightly different message from this sketch. But I think for you, there's an awful lot of ideas, projects, opportunities, and they're all tightly furled up in their buds as yet. So read what you will into that. I'm sorry, group 1, I'm really falling over my words today. Let's see if, or maybe that's the energy today. Let's see. So a couple of words that came through to you, we will get onto the cards. Dark or royal blue, throat chakra, communication, ties into, endocrine system, and particularly about self-expression. So that might be a big theme for you in January. And then animal spirit that wanted to come through was the stoat. Now, I have to look up my spirit animals. I don't know them all off the top of my head. The stoat, busy bee. Okay. Everything is rapid. They're so good at rapid, focused movement, rapid, focused thought. That's what they're really about. Serious kind of multitaskers. I just see them, they're all looking after each other in their community. Everything is fast, but not in a, as humans tend to do. They then spread themselves far too thinly. With the stoat, it's, they make sure they have their rest spots, so they rest in a hurry and they move in a hurry, if that makes sense. They know instantly what they need, and they just go boom, 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 boom through their day. So it's actually a great fun energy for January. Not always an expected energy. I think sometimes January feels like a bit of a false start, but it's interesting that spirit animal comes through. So let's see how those relate to the cards that wanted to come through for you. So we've got 3 cards to begin with. I haven't seen these yet. Okay, gosh. Group 1, I've been sitting with your energy for a couple of days, and you really actually wanted to be read last of the 4 groups. And it seems you've got, coming into January with a bit of a bang. These 2 are major arcana cards, and we have royalty in the middle. Need I say more? Spirit, what do you want to convey to group 1? All right, let's see what comes through. Initiation and the Count Saint Germain. Let's check you can see this. I do apologise for the lighting. I will get this much, much better very, very soon. Okay. Saint Germain is the violet flame in this world, the purification flame. He is here to do the purifying, which is certainly not a shrinking violet job, no pun intended with the purple violets there. Badass violets. Yeah, it's a serious job, and that's his soul mission. In this card, he's called the Count Saint Germain. He can also be known as, his angelic form. And he is the overseer of initiation. And I want to say that he really does roll up his sleeves and goes through it with you. Initiation, I mean, if you're on my channel, then you're a pretty spiritual bod, and I'm sure you understand what initiation is. And it can be anything. I think anything challenging in life, or sometimes wonderful in life, can be an initiation. So whenever we step through a doorway, a portal into a new self or a new awareness, some of them, I'm just going to say it, are brutal. Let's not sugarcoat it. But with hindsight and with growing awareness and growing spiritual strength, I like thinking of it like that. It's like working a muscle. You start to more quickly understand the initiations that you're in, even. And certainly looking back, you understand that they are in service to you and your growth and your deepest, very, very deepest self. Your self, your soul mission, your deepest desires. The kind of things in life that they're so, so precious to you, they just make you want to weep. So, Count Saint Germain, what have you got for us in this reading? When he's in the reverse, as came through for you guys, it's just starting to come through. I think, okay, I'm just going to say what's coming through. Group 1, it feels as though you're fighting against something. You're fighting against something that you know you need to do. Sorry, I'm off camera now. So when he's in the reverse position, it means it's kind of like an initiation is stuck. it's got stuck in the pipeline, or it's got stuck in red tape, or it's such a silly image. I just want to giggle about it because there's also a lot of humour around it. I don't think this is some, like a really down in the dark chambers type of initiation. I think this is almost one you've known about for a while, and you're almost humorously avoiding it. You're so aware of it. You're just, I know I'm avoiding this, and it's a bit silly, but that's just how it is. Okay. I've never had that energy from this card before. That is hilarious. So Saint Germain has just come in today. Say, you might want to get this initiation moving. There is something, Group 1, that you know you need to do. And, there's no judgment here. I don't particularly like the expression self-sabotage, because we never actually do it knowingly. These patterns come up for us, which have been embedded at some point, and then they're running again. And even when we start to notice them, oh, there's that pattern, we're still not, we didn't trigger it on purpose. So, no judgment at all. It doesn't feel, well, on one hand, it feels like a big thing in your life. I think it's going to change the look of your life quite significantly. Maybe, it's about the job or the career or the relationship. However, I don't think it's a kind of gut-wrenching initiation. It's not like a terrible breakup, or I think this is something you're really ready for. If it is to do with a relationship, I think you're just so ready for it. And it's almost like it's gone on for so long. It's just the dribs and drabs now. And you've just got to cut that very, 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 very final thread. I hope this is making sense. And even Count Saint Germain, he's just chuckling. He's just he's patient. He's ready. He's just waiting. Whenever you're ready is what I'm hearing. Whenever you're ready. So if you're resonating with this message, you know what it is. January, it's a good time to do it, folks. It's a good time to do it. Whatever that thing is. All right, going on to Queen of Roses. This is one of my favourite cards, quite easily. Queen of Roses, she's all about self-love. I'll try and angle that a little bit so you get a bit more light on there. She is the queen of self-love. She's in her tower, she's got a stunning view. She's built her world around her, she's got all the roses. If you're into the Magdalenes, the Christ story, what am I trying to say? Sisterhood of the Rose, that might be coming through for you in this message. Okay, that's interesting. She's got this beautiful, I'll come back to that thought. She's got this beautiful expression on her face. She's just looking at this rose. Self-love, time to be with herself, contemplation. I want to say there's a real, there's now a really deep spiritual theme coming through here. Even if this was still about, the job or relationship or moving house or finally clearing out the clutter in a room, whatever it is that you just need to get on with. This card is actually now also suggesting there's a bit of a spiritual undercurrent to this. I mean, there always is. Bear with me, group one. A self-love as that deepest connection to self. I mean, that is what self-love is. But I think we get distracted sometimes. And this message has come through for another group as well. We can get a bit distracted thinking self-love is, taking the long hot bath and I don't know, having better people around you, and those are all really good things, but they're very outward things. And that deepest thread of self-love is just being with yourself. I mean, look at this lady, she's just with herself in love. She's in love with herself, she's in love with her surroundings, she's just so quietly and beautifully with herself. Even when we meditate, and no judgment again, we can so often not actually be in a loving space at all. So this is all about seeing if you can, drop down to an even deeper level of gentleness with yourself. There's a real fiery energy in this reading in general. I don't know if I'm talking to a lot of fire signs, maybe even air signs. There's a lot of energy. Maybe a lot of energy is built up because you've been avoiding this. Okay, we know how procrastination can create its own force field. And there's a sense of you really want to do everything, like all these beautiful buds you've got going on, particularly group one, ideas, projects, themes. I think you're seeing January in this new year as there's lots of opportunity and you're quite excited about it. But I'm sorry guys, until you face whatever this is, the declutter in whatever sense, facing something, shifting something, cutting the last cord, that energy is just gonna, make you feel irritable. And I say that with humour because it's almost like Count Saint Germain is saying, you know what to do, and this is really quite simple to do, so it's just making that first tiny step. It really is. It's that kind of moment like, oh God, do I really have to? But yes, you do. Oh, Spirit's funny today. Okay, and what I'm seeing is, so this deeper spiritual, deep self-love, I think self-love is spiritual. That moment of pause, of just sitting with yourself, I think that is what is going to nudge you out of this procrastination. Just that little moment of, I can just feel it in my belly now, you just drop down, you ground a bit more, you just let all of these, tantalizing ideas and new themes and excitement and New Year energy, you just let it, I see you and I appreciate you and I love you, and I'm just gonna put you aside for a moment because I need a quiet moment with myself. I'm sensing whatever this cord is that needs to be cut, the declutter, the slight shift. I say slight shift, it might have been a much bigger thing in the past, but this really is like the final part of it. I hope that makes sense. I think when you really tap into yourself, you ground a bit more, you surround yourself with just that softer, loving energy. You know that all of this wonderful stuff will happen, but you just need a moment. I think there's a feeling which just, it needs your attention. And now I'm actually feeling grief. So even though, there's been a lot of humour around this card and this final cord cutting, and we can joke about it, there is actually, I think the actual block, it's not because you're necessarily avoiding or lazy or manic or just all over the place, which you might have been telling yourself, I'm not sure. Actually, there's just something you won't be able to feel it until you just drop down a little bit more into yourself. And surround yourself in that love, and just know it's okay to feel the last thread. I think that would be a good title for group 1 for this reading, is Feel the Last Thread. Okay. I'm feeling so tender towards you, group 1. It's kind of, well, not kind of, it's a beautiful feeling. Whatever it is you're finally completing, whatever it is you've got that final thread to cut the cord of, it's a very tender kind of final goodbye. It's just I'm just seeing like the cutest cuddly animal, just with teary eyes. If the feeling had an image, it would be that kind of image. But it's just beautiful. It's so pure. That's what I'm trying to grasp. Okay, yeah, here it is. It's such a pure feeling because you have done all the work around this, whatever this, I keep saying cord cutting. It's just what wants to keep coming through. This initiation, this final entrail of whatever this is. Yeah, it's just, it's so pure because you've done all of the work, and it's just the willingness to feel that last thread, so you can feel where it is. And when I say that, I mean where it is as a feeling, so you can grasp hold of it, or where that point in time is that you need to cut, or what it wants to be transformed into. You need to drop down enough to find it. It feels a bit cryptic, this message, but I'm sure whoever's resonating this will get it. You have to sort of find it within your own being and sit with it and go in there so lovingly and so gently. And I think whatever all this manic energy has been, maybe you've been building something really big for a while and it's taken all of your attention. But what's delaying it from going to the next step is this past situation, which just needs the final wrap up. And so I think it's about, yes, I've got this amazing energy and I just want to keep running with it and keep running with it because it feels so good. But actually, Spirit is saying, whoa, just calm down, and just for a moment, like, we're not saying no to all that. That's all great. Whatever you're building is amazing. What we're saying is just slow down for a moment, find that final chord, which you may not have realised was there, and just allow yourself to find it. You do have the time. You have the time for this. You're not gonna destroy everything that you're currently building, all the seeds that you're currently planting. You can take a day off, basically, and Spirit is saying it's safe. It's interesting, I've got a croaky voice now, and we had the throat chakra earlier. Oh, hello. Maybe for some of you, because my voice is croaking, we've had the blue of the throat chakra. Maybe for some of you, this cord cutting involves speaking. It involves a verbal communication. Maybe that is where you've been feeling blocked, and I have a chill going through me. I think for some of you that's going to really resonate. And it's all right when this inner work is all within ourselves and we can journal about it and talk to our therapist about it and recovery group, or whoever else we've got for this work, and spirit guides. But when we have to actually say it to the person, that it's really important to. So Spirit's message is, don't be afraid of the feelings. I don't mean this patronisingly, because I think we all need to hear it often, is just be brave. And I think just trust yourself. when you drop down into this gorgeous energy of self-love and you do it from vulnerability and you've calmed everything down, you will be able to deliver this message. If this cord cutting is a message, you will be able to deliver it so beautifully from that pureness of spirit, from the pureness of your journey and the pureness of your intent, and you'll be able to deliver it. It's just gorgeous. And oh, this is so beautiful, group one. What I'm seeing is, so you're the Queen of Roses in this. Sometimes this is about somebody else, but this is definitely you. And actually, you, whatever this communication is, for those of you where it is an actual message that needs to be given, what I'm seeing is you are actually gifting a rose to this other person. So even if the message seems incredibly difficult, and it's going to bring up feelings for you and going to bring up feelings for them, and you don't know how they're going to react necessarily, the more vulnerably you can do it, it's a gift. Just remember that you are also releasing them in whatever context that means. You are releasing them, and I'm just seeing all these roses as gifts, okay? And you'll be handing this rose to them. It's such a beautiful, stunning image. Oh, group one, you're gonna make me teary today. Goodness. Right, where next? Is there anything else, Spirit, from Saint Germain and the Queen of Roses? These are such a gorgeous pair as well. Anything more on that communication? If it is a communication, it's going to be different for all of you. No, I don't know if you're feeling this, but it just feels so gorgeous and tender and gentle and heartfelt, and it's time. I'm hearing big time. It's time. Big time, it's time. And everything is just going to bloom for the rest of the year, and you'll be amazed, actually. It may feel even like a tiny cord cutting or a tiny communication, but it's just going to let everything bloom. And then you can get back to your stoat energy, resting fast and building fast and every action focused. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Okay, how much time? Oh, we're actually on time. The Light of the World. This is a beautiful card. It's saying Spirit is knocking. There's the image of this boy with his cat. And he's busy. He's clearly busy, and Spirit is knocking. What this card is saying, sometimes it's totally fine to say, Spirit, I'm busy, but I will be there in a moment. However, having had the message from these two cards, the message for group one today, you lovely people, who are, building a whole new world from the sounds of it, even if it's in a, you think it's in a small way, it certainly feels like a whole new world. And you'll know what I mean. For this reading, I will get to the point, I promise. Light of the World. Okay, whatever your spiritual leaning is, or whatever it is you put faith in, this man, and don't get hung up on gender, he represents whatever spirit is to you. It's that calling back to your pure self-loving self. And it's saying, actually, we have been waiting for you to move on and let go, and we've been knocking, and now it really is time. So this card is just saying this is time. These are two major arcana cards, so even if the details of this in your life feel relatively small, I just see, when there's like a tiny cog and it's moved just a little bit, but it's connected to all these, to a bigger cog and a bigger one and a bigger one and a bigger one and a bigger one. I think that's what's going to be happening with you from this. Whatever it is you confront in January, gently, confront's the wrong word, release, gently let go of, let flow down the stream, send on its way, whatever that is, you're going to see this huge ripple effect. And I love how even this sketch is really talking about this. You start off with one little bud, and it's just gonna, what did I want to say? Lost my train there. You start off with something that feels quite small, and you know, didn't think that much of it, but you finally did it. And then, but actually the knock-on effect is it's just growing and growing and growing, and that's gonna, you know, just imagine all of these in bloom. That's what's coming later on. So for January, it is just do it. Just do it, whatever it is. What else we got? Oh, we had a main theme. Oh, this is really pretty, but it didn't want to come out till the end. Let's just put him over there. So this card, let me show you super quickly, so this doesn't run on and on. Upright, we've got the War of the Roses, which simply means head over heart. So your head has been battling your heart, which is just classic of everything we've just been talking about. You know, your head is with the stone, busy, focused, creating, building, manifestations coming in, it's all lined up. But your heart is saying, actually, I'm stuck back here. There's something that needs addressing. So your final message, group 1, this is in the reverse, which is actually a really positive card. It means your spirit has won. This is the spirit card in green. You see how it's now above the other two? These are now all in these warring head and heart armies are now in allegiance, in service to your spirit. That could not be clearer. I just love when the cards are they're just this is how it is. You've even got this image of this is a roses card, that's a roses card. It's all about that love and relationship, and particularly self-love. Group 1, I love you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your energy today. It's given me a big boost of energy myself. I just love whatever is going on for you. And yeah, all my love and appreciation for just, you know, that little bit of courage you just need just to let go of what you need to let go of. And what a fantastic time to do it in January. Okay. Group 1, I hope to see you for February reading. All my love. Take care. Group 2, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Apologies for the lighting, it's not quite right, although I do like these patterns over here. So this is Group 2's reading for January. So just before we come to the cards, a couple little initial messages for you. The colour red, passion. I was asking Spirit, what do they particularly mean with this? And it was passion for self, passionate care, passionate about your self-care. So I'll leave that with you to see what comes through for that, and that may well come back to us during the reading. This is a little sketch for January, just intuitively drawn. It's interesting because it wanted to be a 6, 4, the 5 this side, the 3, the 2, the 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, that might bleed into the reading, or it might just be there to seep into your psyche. Okay, these were your cards. Group 2, what have we got for Group 2? This one really snuck in. I did not even realise I had 4 cards. It's normally 3. So, what message for gorgeous Group 2 for January? What's the medicine? What's the message? So this card is all about incredible emotional strength. So you've got the really, really powerful waterfall. Obviously water is the emotions. You've got this deep, deep pool into which it's all running into. So I'm just feeling from you guys immense emotional strength. I don't know what you've been up to create this. Obviously, you know, you're amazing, strong people as it is. But particularly in January, you're going to be feeling it. This is real. It's almost like moving out of the slumber. You can imagine the stream just meandering through these beautiful sort of valleys, and then all of a sudden, wow, power. Because it's not until you get to a waterfall that you understand the incredible, awesome power of water. Right? And this is you guys. You've been meandering along. Maybe December was the typical kind of, Christmas time, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, it can actually be a very stressful time of year. But I think you've also been pretty good with the self-care, with pulling back, with going into the winter of your life. And you've just come out with immense strength, whether through resting or you've had particular challenges, and you just feel so much stronger in yourself. And I have to say, about time too, you've been waiting for this sense of power and strength and stability. And yes, you want to come diving off here and into this gorgeous pool of, I'm just seeing abundance, like literally abundant fish and swimming amongst like coral reefs and beautiful colours. And whether this dive is into incredibly beautiful spiritual realms, or you're just so aware of the beauty of your life and the beauty of the everyday, wherever you are on that spectrum. Or maybe it's the whole spectrum. Okay, let's just have it all. You've been so ready to just dive off this waterfall and plunge down and feel free, and just really just feel held by the water. There's really something about your emotions just feel held. And whether that's, this card is all about that inner strength. You're able to hold your own emotions. You're really, really matured. Please don't take that, negatively. We're all constantly maturing, hopefully. You've wanted to dive off. You've wanted to come to this freedom, and you're being really held. And that might be being able to be on your own and feeling really held with your own emotions. Or it might be that you finally have the tribe around you that you've always wanted. Whichever it is, it's just intensely beautiful. And this is not the flavour of, going off to a deserted island and having a nice holiday. This is the flavour of it is deeply, deeply integrated into your life. Look how much deeper this pool is compared to, the meandering over the top where this stream has been. This is deeply integrating into your life. This security, this power. Of course, we always have more challenges in life, but you've just reached a whole new level of depth. And I want to say, particularly in the emotional realm, the security. Excuse me. Oh, that's clearing out my stuff. Thank you, group 2. Anything else, Spirit, from this card? There's just a beautiful harmony. You're in your element. You might be a water sign, or you might be dealing with water signs, but not necessarily at all. This is about you and your emotional strength and fortitude and depths, and finding peace with it, a really deep sense of peace. We often think of peace as kind of almost like sultrifying, almost stagnant. I think there's a bit of a cultural thing that peace is somehow stagnant, but peace is vibrant. Peace is where all of our freedom and creativity can spring from, all of our true nature. Peace is this massive doorway, and this very much seems to be what this pool is about. So that's just stunning. We'll just call that stunning. Okay, the Oracle of Delphi. Spirit, what have you got for us for group 2 with the Oracle of Delphi? So this is a beautiful major arcana card. This is a major energy. This has been in your sort of everyday life, so it will be really vivid to you that this emotional strength is really coming through. If you're not already, you'll be able to start seeing it really clearly in your life, the way you handle people, the way you handle yourself. This card is a major, major energy in your life. What I'm hearing is, from this newfound stability, your levels of perception have gone to a whole new level as well. So the Oracle of Delphi, this card is all about perceiving, so perceiving messages, perceiving spirit, perceiving the really subtle nuances of your own psyche, of your own life, of what's really happening with people, perhaps. So, you know, the whole spectrum, whatever particularly seems to apply for you, it's all about perception and then how to interpret what you perceive. So, you know how we can go through life with so many blinkers on, blinders on, rose-tinted glasses, all of those childhood patterns. And it can really skew how we see ourselves and how we see other people and how we see our life and how we experience life. Whereas this is so beautiful because this card is saying you, okay, so 2020, we're talking about 2020 vision. I picked that up from some other readers and I really like that idea. It's about 2020 vision. And if you think of, you know, one side is, one of the 20s is how you perceive and how aware and how subtle you are with perceiving everything that's going on in your life and your world. And then the other 20 is how you interpret that. And I would say part of interpreting is how you then put it into action. What do you do with that information? What do you do with that wisdom? What do you do with that insight? And you've got it. And this is a 1 card, it's January, it's the first month, it's the new year in the Western world. It's just gorgeous. I also love how this is the deep dive into the pool. And as you probably see here, you're in this gorgeous kind of jade cave. You know, as I said, you've gone to a whole new, deeper level of how you perceive. It's just stunning. And I'm just seeing all kinds of powers coming into your life because of this new ability. And if you're resonating with this reading, you will be feeling it. You will just be, you know, that gorgeous mix of joy and relief and just massive breath of fresh air and freedom and just, wow. It's that feeling of, I've done so much work and I'm finally arriving. That is stunning, group 2. That is stunning. Okay, talking about all that power, we now go into this beautiful card. So one way it's autumn, the other way up it's spring. So for you guys it's come up as autumn, which is all about harvest. You've got this intensely beautiful sunlight. I'm hoping you can see all this enough. You're harvesting the fruits. You've got the leftovers of, you know, the wheat to harvest there with the straw. You've got the tools laid down. It's done. The harvest is done. Spirit, what's the message with this card? Okay, so I'm hearing stop digging, actually. Interestingly, it's been all about depth, going deeper, and you don't need to dig anymore. Not for this period, not for January. It's time to take a little step back and just really appreciate this journey you've been on, this alchemy, this not even so much alchemy. I think the alchemy came before. This is just acknowledging the strength you now have, the strength of being yourself that you now have. So yeah, just welcoming the harvest. What do people do at harvest time when the harvest is all brought in? You know, they used to go off to church and have a harvest festive. They would celebrate, you know, they would gather all their fruits together and just look at them and go, wow. And then there'd be some pretty mad cooking sessions and community coming together. So it's that real vibe of inside of you, things are really starting to come together and you can feel it. So the message is, enjoy the harvest, enjoy it. If you can do that with other people, you know, share with people the journey you've been on and how you got there. That's another real deep part of Harvest Festival. Celebrating what worked, okay? Sharing that abundance, sharing that joy. I don't mean in a, you know, suddenly giving yourself away, because it's a little bit confronting to feel quite so yourself all of a sudden. No, none of that. We don't do giving ourselves away. Or if you catch yourself doing it, just, you know, so gently bring yourself back. No, this harvest is, you know, celebration first, and share that celebration. And if the sharing doesn't feel like a celebration, then it's not sharing. Okay. gorgeous. Now, I'm really interested that you guys had 4 cards. There was really something wanted to come through here. It was this one that crept in, and yet it's the most powerful. Okay, she was waiting to be revealed. Perhaps that's a message in there as well. It's, for some of you, it might still be waiting to be revealed, this increased inner security and self. All right, this card, the lightning bolt. Now, normally, this card, it's basically the Tower card, but I love how it's more to do with nature. So think of the lightning as like the finger of God or the finger of the universe. It's time to shatter things apart. Basically, this rain and this flooding has been going on for so long, and it's time for the fire to cut through. So that's what this card normally means. It means things have just been getting stagnant. It's been a difficult time. Not a dramatic time, just that endless, it's too soggy. You know, something just needs to change. We're going in one direction for too long, and something needs to change. And that change comes in pretty dramatically, and it might not appear at first that that's the kind of change you want. But just, you know, hold on, and in the future, you'll be able to see exactly what that change was about and just how divinely perfect it actually was. Now, perfect does not mean it hasn't been painful, hasn't been difficult, it hasn't been a challenge, it hasn't been, you know, dramatic. It doesn't mean, you know, there might have been grief involved. But so what I should probably say, what would be a better way of saying it, is you can see the perfection of the change it instigated, even if it's difficult to perceive this actual event itself as perfect. I think that's a better, kinder way of saying it. So that's what the card normally means. I think the fact I've just said all that means, for some of you, that is what it means in this reading as well. What else have we got coming through, please, Spirit? What does it mean to group 2, bearing in mind what we've had already? Okay. Ooh, I've got to say what I'm given. All right. I'm just going to put those 3 up there. They very much belong together. So you've generated this inner security, the self. You've celebrated, you've really taken it in, or you're about to. Again, you know, you might be on the cusp of these, you might be very much in it, you might be well into the celebrating the harvest phase. I have this piece of driftwood, by the way. It really wanted to be in January. So there you go. Now this card is saying, and what happens when we get more in touch with the true self? Well, the clue is in this massive power. The clue is in how much we create, how much we can harvest. We have massive power in our life. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody or to, you know, to create any fear at all. It's just Spirit wanting to just bring you a little nudge with this card, that you have this power of self. Now, when we get more in touch with ourselves and we have those periods of being able to celebrate all that we've achieved, I'm not that fond of the expression self-sabotage, because we never do it knowingly, ever. It's pretty much impossible to do it knowingly. What Spirit wants you to just, you know, not to dampen all this. This is amazing. Well done. This is, you know, there's a big, like, I'm just seeing a load of angels in cheerleader outfits just going, well done. This is so good. This is good. This is your true self at a whole new level. It just comes with a nudge, as everything always does. There's always 2 sides to everything in this realm anyway. That you do now have this power, and what can happen is we can get a bit confronted with that. You know, it typically means we've got rid of a load of negative patterns from our life. And sometimes they can just then come up with a vengeance because we're just so not used to, you know, sitting on this throne and owning our own power. We're just not used to it. So even though you're feeling this power and you're celebrating your harvest, you're very much on your throne. It's not a position you've been used to. And I don't mean that in a, you know, you might have been an incredibly successful person inside and outside, but this level that you're now at, you're not used to being all the way up there on that throne. So just stay really present with this, with all of this. So in January, it's going to be all about presence for you. Do enjoy it, but it's a bit like, you know, you've just upgraded your car to a Ferrari. Go and have some lessons, right? Take it easy. So January is a take it easy month, and that's perfect because, you know, in the Northern Hemisphere at least, we're still in the depths of winter, so it's a perfect time to be taking it easy. You don't need to do anything with this. It's happening for you. Just let it in, get used to being up there, get your balance, you know, handle any vertigo, get used to, you know, getting up and down, just get used to it. So this card, I don't think there is particularly a tower moment for you. I think this is just a nudge. It's just a nudge to say, you have this power. And, you know, there's always a safety net. If we go too far away from ourselves again, Spirit will step in. Okay? And that's fine. It's all part of the process. We've all been through that. When things just seem to get, you know, rearranged for us, that safety net is always there. However, Spirit is just saying, you know, you're a big guy or girl now. Again, I don't mean that patronisingly at all. I felt like a child most of my life, well into adulthood. It's just saying you have an opportunity here, as we always do, to navigate this really well. Really, really well. Okay, I normally take at least a couple more. We're already at time, but I think let's just get a really quick message, maybe one card or two cards, Spirit, just to wrap this up. So Spirit, please don't start a whole new story. Okay, that's just beautiful. All right, your earlier message of be passionate about your self-care. It's interesting, we associate self-care when we've been battered and bruised, but how about having that self-care for getting used to being up on this throne? There you go. All right, your final two cards quickly. We have got balance. I mean, it says it all really, confirming everything we've just said. This is a beautiful card. Just, you've got the scales there. The door is always open to Spirit. Let the light come flooding in. If ever you're not sure about how to navigate this new self, you know, you need a Ferrari lesson with Spirit, just just do it. The door is always open. The light's always there. Just do all your normal grounding practices, your journaling, your writing, your reading, your meditating, you're looking after your physical health. Balance. It does what it says on the tin. King of Scrolls reversed. Spirit, you're making me work hard right at the end. Come on. They're just laughing at me. The King of, affectionately, that is. The King of Scrolls reversed. Right, I'm just immediately seeing, do not be swayed by other people. It doesn't matter how smart they are, how gorgeous they are, how intelligent. Apologies, group true. Group true. That was interesting. True self. Group true too. Okay, I'm sorry we got interrupted by something on my phone. Okay, King of Scrolls, this was reversed. Do not get distracted. So again, with the balance, don't get distracted by, you know, the gorgeous person, male or female, how brilliant they are, how intelligent they are. Do not give away your power to anybody. It's just a little nudge. Spirit's been really lovely here. They've just reaffirmed the entire message. Stay balanced, have your Ferrari lessons. I'm sorry, I've said that analogy so many times, it's utterly, flopping around dead. King of Scrolls, just don't be swayed by anybody. Don't be swayed. That is your January message, group 2. I think that's absolutely stunning. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. On the base is clearing the way. You are clearing some serious stuff right now. So this might be actually what you've just been doing. To have gotten to this. Adore your true self. Bring that passionate self-care for this time when you're feeling good. It's the best time for self-care. Get used to that new throne. All right. All my love. Have a wonderful month. And I'll hopefully see you in February. Welcome, group 3. Welcome. This is your reading for January. This is the intuitive sketch for January. We've got these little buds coming. There's 6 here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To me, this is a very kind of womb-like structure, all about growth and nature and new beginnings. Perhaps those the snowdrops coming through in a few weeks' time. I like this dusting of whether this would be sparkles or snow or so we'll see how that sets us up for your reading. A couple of words to start us off. No idea what these mean yet. Colours, blues and purples. There's definitely a very wintry theme here. Very wintry theme, which obviously goes with January. Very different to group 2, where that didn't play a part at all. Snow bear. Spirit animal coming through for you. Maybe tap into what the bear represents for you. Got some medicine, bear medicine for you, and particularly snow bear. Alright, let's get into your 3 cards. I have just reversed these by mistake. Let's put them back in order. Okay, Spirit, what medicine have we got for gorgeous group 3? What's their January going to be like? What is the medicine? I have a very noisy candle. It's very beautiful. This was a gift. Peony petals, and it's a new one, and it's quite noisy. So you have this vibrant, noisy flame going on in your reading. We've got ice and fire. Okay. Spirit, what are the messages? Okay, group 3. This feels like, this isn't always the case with my readings, but this does feel like a past, present, future. Okay. The Ascent, what have you guys been up to? Whatever it is, you have conquered it. You have absolutely conquered it. This is you on the mountaintop. This card isn't always as obvious as this, but in your reading, he is just, he's relieved, he might be a bit exhausted, but the predominant feeling is you have conquered this mountain. You have conquered this, and your vision now, you can see so far. So this might be an intellectual mountain that you've just climbed. I'm kind of seeing kind of PhDs or degrees or some kind of schooling perhaps, some kind of learning, and you've mastered it and you feel like you've grasped it, and it really is, you've conquered it so well. All of that knowledge is at your fingertips now. That's very much the flavour. Now, even though this is a past card, for some of you this might be about to happen still. This might be very current, or it might be where you want to be heading. However, you're still feeling that mastery because it's within your grasps, or you've already conquered it. Of course, this could apply to other mountains in your life, whether it's a relationship goal, a career goal, a family goal, a spiritual goal. I'm just getting the flavour particularly that it's on the intellectual, just because we've got this huge sky, we've got the mountain tops. It's very, for the air signs, all about the mind and the intellect. However, if, it might be slightly different for you. Whatever it is, you've climbed the mountain and, oh my goodness, group 3, you are feeling on top of the world, and rightly so. Well done. Spirit is just saying, you've done it. You've done it. And I feel with you guys, you've done it. I don't mean that arrogantly. It's funny, in another reading, in another group, it was very much they needed to learn how to celebrate that and how to receive everything that they had achieved. But you guys, you're just feeling confident. You really do know what you have achieved. Okay, so this is the present flavour. Look at these two. Masters of their world. Doesn't matter if you're male or female or whatever you identify as, master of your world. King of Forces. So this card, particularly the masculine, or, the kings and queens, it might be a particular person in your life even. What does Spirit want to bring through for group 3? Okay, there's 2 flavours coming through. One is that this is actually you, okay? Master of the energies in your life. You feel in control, you feel in the driver's seat, but in that kind of noble, kingly way. You don't need to brag about it, you've so got your feet on the ground. Sometimes this card is very about nature and connecting to nature, but I think for you guys it's just more what it says on the tin, the King of Forces. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? And you're not wasting any time. I think you have so quickly acknowledged all you've achieved and grasped it that already you're looking ahead to what you want to do with it. Very, very quickly. It's, right, what's the next thing? And whereas sometimes the message is, hang back a little bit, let there be a pause, take a break. I think actually there's just so much, I'm just sensing a lot of, force coming through for you guys, group 3 in January, where it's just going to keep going. For some people, January is a real, almost a false start. I think we get, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, we get all revved up after New Year, but actually then kind of fall flat because it's still very much winter time. However, you guys are not defined by the season, I would say. You are just powering through. And I think that's spot on. I think go for it. Whatever your next thing is, I think you've completely taken all this on board. You're moving ahead. So, and even the way, normally I would spend minutes more on just the first card, but with you guys it's nope, straight through. And I know that there's quite a few more cards waiting, so this is interesting. You guys are on fire. You really are. It's all about the mind. The mind's working quickly. It might apply to a different area of your life, but whatever it is, it's just moving fast. There's a lot of energy and you're on the wave and you are going. So what are you looking ahead to? Let me get my words out. The scribe. Well, okay. In the theme of this fast-paced, whatever is going on for you, just ferocious writing. I want to say doing the writing of 4 people, or you're certainly overseeing a group who are just super productive right now. There's also something about, it might be whatever this mountain was, the PhD, the degree, the A-levels, or the spiritual knowledge you suddenly awakened to, the career move, even moving house, whatever it is you have conquered, yes, it's complete. This card might be representing it's time to share everything you've just done. It really is time to share all of this wisdom that you have gained. And there's something kind of, I just keep hearing the word ferocious. There's just so much, you just need it to pour out. And I don't mean in a manic way or an addictive way, which can sometimes happen, but it's just there and it's flowing. You guys are so in flow for January. This is just, it's beautiful. There's almost not time to dot the I's and cross the T's. So yeah, let's see what else we've got for you with these further cards. We had another 4 come out, which is quite unusual. So put those 3 up there. Sometimes it's just 1. Oh my goodness. Okay. Whoa. Alright, so let me tap in for a moment. This is interesting. Yeah, I've only done 9 minutes. This is really funny. Alright, I want to do this first of all. Let's have you. Snow bear. Snow bear's definitely wide awake and hunting. Gosh. Right. Let's see what makes more sense here. I'm going to come to those in a minute. I think these 2 just want to come next. So this one just brings a massive smile to my face. You are committed. You are so committed. I'm almost proud. I know it's a very weird thing to say. You know when you see someone just working so hard and it's paying off for them and they're enjoying it. It's a busy time, but they're enjoying it. And it affects everyone around them. It's that enthusiasm, but it's directed. You know, it's not spilling out everywhere with, you know, lots of talk or, you know, just superfluous stuff. It's so directed, and it just brings everyone joy. And you feel so on track. That is the effect you're having around you. You won't even be aware of this because you're busy doing this. By the end of January, or certainly what you have created in January, is going to be leading to this. This, I'm going to say happily ferocious work. Whether it is writing or not, it might be something completely different. But whatever this project, this life move, this spiritual progression is, you're going to be making it material, is what I want to say. You're going to be, even if it's not directly in words, there's some way, you know, this could be a really, you know, material thing, and you've cracked it, you've created something you're so proud of, and now it's about, this is the production stage. That's what I'm trying to get to. Thank you, Spirit. This is the production stage. And you're loving it. You know, that it's just so satisfying seeing it all come through. And it's commitment. So Spirit's saying, yeah, you are committed to this. It's the right thing for you to be committed to. I don't sense many doubts with this group, but if you are having any, just know that, you know, Spirit is 1000% behind you, and just stay committed. Just stay committed. Keep pointing true north, keep shining that light. Now it comes out with the journey card. Okay, you are committed to all of this journey. Okay, this is where it gets interesting, because whilst this feels like a massive initial burst, actually it's going to become a long journey. This is not, you know, the 5-minute project. It's not sort of the temporary spiritual mountain. It's not the quick relationship. What you are creating here is really going to be committing for a big journey. And I think you're so busy in this by the end of January that you're not even going to be aware of the longer journey. And in a way, that's pretty good. That's why these cards have come out separately. It's good that you're not aware of that, because you just be happy in your focus here. But what Spirit is doing is just giving you a little heads up that if you just stay committed, you know, ride out the bumps of, you know, any doubt that might creep in later after this initial massive energy boost, just know that that's part of the journey. There's going to be the ups and downs, there's going to be the odd storm, but this commitment card is so powerful. These 2 cards are major arcana cards. I've totally made that up. That's really funny. No, I'm going to go with that. Okay, no, I think that's what Spirit wants me to say to you. Alright, let me explain. These two, they're not major arcana cards. This is actually a major arcana card, which is definitely, yeah, that productive, fast-paced energy. That's a major thing. Now these two are, you know, from the Roses suit, if you like, which is all about relationship and love and self-love as well, very much about the self. However, the fact that I've just stumbled over my words, I don't think that was a mistake as such. I think these are major energies for you, the commitment to the whole journey. I think that's all it wants to say. It's just stunningly beautiful. Look at these, you've got the ships, you've got this beautiful city, you've got the wide open ocean, you've got the sun. I feel that this is the sun rising. Everyone's busy getting prepared, getting into their boats to get to the ships and set sail. So this, whatever this is up here for you, it might indicate I just want to say a whole new world. A whole new world for you. Financially, spiritually, relationship, or even simply, but probably the most powerfully, within yourself. There's a real sweet energy coming through with this now. It's saying, you have really changed. And I mean, I was going to say for the better. That sounds a bit harsh. You have really grown. You have really developed and blossomed. That's the word. You've blossomed. Look at these. You have blossomed. That journey is leading to your blossoming. That's very beautiful. Okay, now what are these two about, Spirit? This feels like a whole new track, funnily enough. All right, let me just start gabbling and the message come through. So this card, it's pretty obvious, on track. You've got this guy about to get on the train. Sometimes he looks a bit hesitant. Sometimes he's saying goodbye to loved ones. Sometimes he's looking back to reassure his loved ones. I like this card. You know, it's just, it's so romantic. You've got this like old style carriages of the train from this old, well, slightly oldie worldy station and heading out into this beautiful countryside. I mean, how romantic is that? If you have the tiniest bug for travel, that might be a bit of an English expression, which nobody uses. The itch, I should say. If you've got the itch for travel, you'll just see all the romance in this card. He could be a businessman, or he could just be, you know, that's just his travel luggage. That's what it normally means. So, you know, fairly obviously, when it's reversed, you don't feel on track, you don't feel sure, you don't know where you're going. So, let's see. I will join this up in a moment. Stay with me, group 3. It's coming through. Caught in the ruins. Okay. Caught in the ruins of your own making. And again, I don't mean that harshly. We all have these patterns that we have to continually heal and transform and change. And at times, we are just caught in the illusion of our own mind. This is what it means. As you can see, this is literally a ruin and they could just climb out. Or it's probably even that this gate isn't even locked, but they haven't thought to test it. You know how, or maybe you don't know, it's how they train elephants to be obedient. You know, they tie them up when they're really small, when they're not strong enough to break the ropes or the chains. And so the baby elephant just assumes it can never get free. It learns that so deeply. The cat is agreeing with me on that one. It's got some camaraderie going on with the elephant world. And then as they grow to these huge, impressive beasts, they still don't test the ropes and the chains, even though they could actually then break them. So this is what can happen to us in our minds. We just get so used to our limitations, we kind of forget they're there. We forget these walls are even there, that the gate is even there, let alone that we could even maybe test them. Maybe, I'm sorry, just listening to the cat. Oh no, she's okay. She's got loads of everything. I think she's just joining in our reading. Where do we get to? Yeah, you don't even think to maybe push the gate or maybe see if there's something new or different. Okay, this is making a bit more sense now. Okay, for some reason, Spirit, this reading is going really far into the future. What's going on? Or is this just in January? Okay, this is making more sense now. All right. There is going to be, this is kind of all at once, bear with me. I feel that this is a moment in January, or certainly coming out of what January is creating. Let me backtrack. Okay, you have conquered this, you're feeling good, you know what you've done, and it's good. You are the king of forces, don't get hung up on gender here. And you're already looking ahead with all of this, it's right under your belt, and you are into production mode, and go with it. That is absolutely correct. Okay, January is not a hibernating time for you. Stay committed. This is going to be part of a bigger journey. That's kind of the hint for the future. You are blossoming. You are blossoming. Now, these two are a little nudge along the way. You might suddenly feel just thinking, oh my goodness, am I really on track? You know when you've got your train ticket and you're about to get on the train and you're thinking, oh God, oh my God, am I really going to get on this train? Am I really doing this? Is that really the destination? What about all these others? What about, what I'm leaving behind? This might be quite a deep card for some of you. It might involve, relationship, a career you're leaving behind, a home. This might be quite a literal movement that you're going through, okay? Or it might just be as simple a little moment of just like, oh God, am I, directing all this production, this shift in me, this personal development, am I really going in the right direction? So big or small, whatever change all of this is creating, there might be a sudden moment of, oh my goodness, where is this going? Hence the reverse card. And Spirit is saying, I'm getting such a loving message coming through. This is happening, this self-doubt, this questioning is happening because you haven't pushed past these limits before. You didn't even know that this particular limit was even there. This might apply to, I didn't even realise the relationship was holding me back. I didn't even realise you could do that with your career. I didn't even realise my self-growth could go in that direction. I had no idea it existed. So the reason for this is because you don't know yet. You just don't know. You don't know that you can break free until you're breaking free. It's that paradox of life. You just don't know until you're doing it. So that's the message. That's the I'd say this is the medicine part of the reading. This is all fantastic. You know what I'm talking about. You've got the commitment. Hint towards this epic, incredible future journey. These wanted to be called major arcanas. That's significant. And this is the moment. Just don't draw back. Just push through the doubt. Just keep going, and it will reveal this ruin which you can just walk free from. You can just walk free from. All right, my gorgeous group 3. I've run over time a tiny bit, but yours was just. This is fast paced for me. I'm not a quick person and I'm not a quick talker, but that's just the energy of your reading. It just wanted to come out like this. Just good job. I think you guys are just on it. You know what you're doing. And then just watch out for when this kicks in. It might kick back hard. The doubt, something like, oh God, this is very, very new. Just trust it. Don't listen to the gremlins and the mind convincing you it's not right. see that as a sign. As soon as you start thinking, oh God, is this right? See that as a sign that yes, it is, and that's coming up for you precisely because it's just testing these limits which you're about to break free from. And look what you end up doing, just going on this absolutely gorgeous journey with this commitment to self, absolute commitment to self. It might involve other commitments, new relationship, new career, it might actually be contracts, but definitely that self-commitment. All right, group 2, all my love, have a fantastic January, fantastic beginning to 2020, and hopefully see you in February. Group 4, wonderful group 4, welcome. Okay, this is your reading for January. Just a quick intuitive January sketch here. So I've said to other groups, it's kind of womb-like, chalice-like. You've got these buds emerging, very kind of winter going to spring type energy from this. We have a very noisy candle. I don't know if this is coming across, but it's making itself known. Maybe we need some fire energy in this. Okay, a couple of words that wanted to come through for you guys. Pink, the colour pink. So it's the colour of love. It can be the colour of, sort of more fierce, protective love, or just that incredible, soft, enveloping love. So the other word for you is softness. And then, interestingly, we've got the animal, the badger. I think of badgers as, they're amazing family animals and incredibly protective. They can be ferocious when they need to be. Very independent. They know who they are and what they're about. Dedicated to family, as I said. So just a couple of little flavours there for you to be thinking about in January. So group 4, we're going to start with 3 cards which came out for you. There'll probably be a couple more in a moment, but let's start with these. Let's see what you have got. Oh my goodness. Okay. Before I even begin this, you're really wanting to come in today. I'll just say it. The sad badger. There's definitely a melancholy. I don't know what you guys have been going through, but it's I kind of want to give you a big hug. It's very tender. I think you've been going through some sadness. Whether that's related to a loss or just some kind of loss. Let's ask Spirit what to bring with this. Okay. This card, apologies about the lighting. I feel like I'm doing shadow puppets in this particular spot. Yeah, I will get that sorted at some point. However, I hope you can see this clearly enough. I will get better lighting on these cards. So, yeah. This card, the Karmic Trench, need I say more? Now, I don't know about you guys, but it took me a long time to get on board with this idea of karma. I think when you're brought up with a lot of shame, you can immediately go to, oh, that means it's my fault, and you take on board too much responsibility. And it's seen as a punishment. And it's really not about that. It's simply, there's been factors in your life, and they are the cause and they have an effect, and it's really not your fault. However, you do get the job of then being responsible for those karmic patterns that you become aware of, that you spot, that you realise are keeping you stuck in life. And you can see the guy here, he's basically, this field is already, it's been ploughed, it's been harrowed, it's all ready for this seed to go in. However, he's still digging. He is still digging. He is just lost in his thoughts, he's lost in his process, he's lost in the past, in a flashback, however you want to think of it. This could be mildly just kind of going through the motions in your life, or it could be a lot more prevalent, you know, if you're someone who's, I'm going to say unfortunate enough, but also in a way powerful enough to have had a journey such as, you know, CPTSD or PTSD, any of that kind of the trauma-based reactions, you will know exactly what this is like when you're just lost in the past, you're lost in a flashback, and it's very painful. It's very painful. And I think that's why Spirit really wants to bring in all this pink, loving, soft energy today, just to wrap you up. And I think this badger energy is saying you are fiercely protected now. And it makes me a bit teary actually, Group 4, what's been going on for you. I think you've been through trauma, or you're waking up to some kind of trauma. I know most people listening to this will understand what I mean already, but just in case you don't. So trauma is, it can be like the one-off dramatic, stressful event, but more often than not, it's the continuous stress, which is just too much for the body. It's abuse on some level. Let's put it like that. And if you're resonating with this message, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And also, you know, losing somebody is very, very traumatic. Any kind of loss, whether that's a loss kind of externally to you, which has a big impact, or some kind of loss of self. All right. So Spirit is saying you're wrapped in this bubble of, you know, this this beautiful womb space of incredible love and softness and tenderness, and you have this spirit badger who's got your back. It really, really has got your back. So, my loves, you've been lost in the past. Okay. And it's a painful and frustrating place to be. Okay. When this card is reversed, it just means, well, it can go either way actually. It either means you've conquered this and you're moving forward. I want to say in this reading, and I've got to say what I'm given. You're still very much in it. If this is coming across to you as a, you know, past, the present, future, then you are actually coming out of it. But this reverse card, it just means Spirit sees you with how deep this has been. That is the message. They have seen just how low you've been brought. I'm seeing this guy actually on his knees now. Yeah. Okay. Spirit, what can you give us next? Queen of Scrolls. This is, so all the kings and queens, they're very much a personality in your life, or they might be about you specifically. The Queen of Scrolls particularly, so she's a powerful woman, she's all about the mind. You might think of her as an air sign, like a Gemini. In the worldly sense, she might be to do with publishing, writing, that kind of study, even going off into sort of scientific study, but where there's a lot of kind of written research, reading research, that kind of thing. So she's very much the queen of the mental realm. Queen of Scrolls, what medicine do you have for Group 4? I'm really drawn again to all the soft pinks, and you've got this beautiful light behind. In the upright position, she brings through incredible nurture and softness and calmness. So if it's mental realm, it's all about being calm and clear, and your mind is really, really working for you. So she's just here to gently say she knows that your mind has not been working for you. And again, I think the big message is it's not your fault. This is just not your fault. It's a heavy energy, okay guys, I'm not gonna dress it up any other way. For January, you've been feeling it, and I kind of love that the Queen has come in here, because, like, you know, this is you don't want to be here. However, sometimes we just have to be brought to our knees to truly know what this karma is all about. So, I'm sorry you've had to go through it. Spirit is sorry you've had to go through it. But you have, and it's a real testament to your strength and your faith, even when you feel you haven't got any. I'm not sensing like emergency status. I think you've got a hold of this, you've got some awareness, or else this would be a very different message. I would certainly tell you if I felt Spirit was actually concerned and you needed to call in the troops immediately. Maybe you already have called in a lot of support. I feel there's kind of a, how can I put it? This doesn't feel like a, I don't know if I've got the words for it. It doesn't feel dramatic. It just feels this has maybe been creeping into your life, this awareness, this sadness. It's more of a, it's just kind of subtle. It's still painful, but it's kind of subtle. So, we're not talking emergency sirens or anything for this particular reading. But the Queen has just come in to say, we see you, we see the mental strain you've been under and your mind not working for you. That's the wording they really want to bring across. Okay. Maybe just take a moment looking at the beautiful, let's see if I can, I promised to get this lighting better. Let's just get her in the light a bit more. This beautiful, lighting up of her third eye. Even though she's in the reverse position for this reading, she's still in your reading. And so there's a great message of hope here, that you will be putting this into the upright, and your third eye and your mental state, your intuition, it's all there still, it's all there for you, and it will be coming in even stronger. That's the promise, okay? That's the promise to keep faith with as you go through this, all right? Okay. Any other message around this, Spirit? This is pretty heavy. Have we got any more help for group 4? Just be so gentle with yourself. Really take on this Badger Spirit energy. So protect. Okay. So whilst this isn't, emergency measures time, I hope you get what I mean by that group 4. Sometimes we desperately need help on this life journey, spiritual journey. This is more, this does need addressing. You are addressing it. It's a difficult place to be. And at the same time, Spirit really wants to say, but do respond to it. Do acknowledge that this is still really tough, and protect your healing space. It's interesting, I'm just being reminded of a message I saw earlier, which was all about this. It's fine to withdraw. In fact, it's so healthy to withdraw at times. Sometimes the mind is just, often it's doolaliness. Let's just call it that, shall we? Not belittling at all or diminishing at all what you're going through, but just bringing in a little bit of humour for a moment. And when the mind is just off on its really unhelpful stuff, churning it over, and there's things still to be healed, so it no longer does that. You don't need lots of people in there muddying it even further, okay? So it might be a time to be really honest with yourself about who is loving and nurturing and helpful. You might even want to put, the people in your life, do they fall into either one of these camps? Are they the softness, the nurturing, the love, the honouring, the respect? Are they fiercely protective of you, and also, before towards you, but to themselves, are they a great role model? If they don't fall into either of those two camps, then just have a little think about, getting rid of the unhelpful energies, unhelpful people who no longer resonate. The big thing about this type of journey is there's going to be things after this journey. Don't worry about them just yet, because your mind is probably not in a place just now to be working out logistics and worrying about, you probably can't even look too far into the future. But just be aware that this will bring about shifts. I don't think, this isn't in January, this is just looking ahead now. So what's interesting is, because you will be writing these two cards, putting them into the upright, just look at all these seeds that you will then be planting, because you've gone through this. And you know what, you will plant them so beautifully and carefully and lovingly, because you know what it's like to have done all this. I hope you could see what I'm pointing to there. Okay, you've got all these seeds you'll be planting, and you'll do such an amazing job with them because you've done this horrible journey and you just won't want to do it anymore. I'm going to leave those two in the upright now. It feels like that's where the reading wants to go now. And just well done. Be so good to yourself. Now, this absolutely huge card comes next. It's a major arcana. In fact, I'm going to put him in the middle of those two. I'll just show you. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. See if we can pick up a bit more light there. It's called Reflection. I'm hoping you can see, you've got this gorgeous little boat, somebody sailing across these gorgeous calm waters below a full moon. You've got this stunning, what's the word I'm looking for, group for, coastline. You've got these gorgeous little cottages, they're all lit up and welcoming. You can imagine going home to a roaring fire and a nurturing space, whether that's on your own and all that self-love has just blossomed in your life and you're going back to just what feels really cozy and lovely and just sheltering away from the world for a bit, or whether you're going back to a group of people who are just really, really good for you. What this card is about is these waters are calm. Water is the emotions. This card is completely the opposite to these two in the reverse. Okay, what you've just had, and this is where you're going. So Spirit is saying just to hold faith. Your mind will calm again. Your emotions will calm again. And just be brave with it. Know that you can do this. There might be a lot of solitary time, but know that so much medicine will still be coming to you, even in your alone time. And, you know, as I said, this is a major arcana. This is a major energy. So these are kind of the smaller cards, the sort of day-to-day details. This is what you're going through day to day. This is saying that you have a major shift coming into calmness. You really, really do. It's stunning. It's just stunning. To really tap into the medicine of this card. So alone time will be good for you in January. Being under the moon, being by calm waters will have such a good effect on you. Meditation, obviously, mindfulness, anything to steady the mind. I think at some point, certainly in my journey, releasing all that trauma and having my mind settle on a more permanent basis has been about the deeper dives, you know, like with a really good therapist, reading about how trauma affects the brain, all that kind of thing. Spirit director gives many names. Off the top of my head, and he's a very prevalent moment in my life, I think it wants to come through here, so Gabor Mate, there's, you know, some of the more obvious ones like him, there's Brené Brown, all about shame, and obviously you've got all your meditation teachers, you know, the world is your oyster when it comes to meditation books and teachers. And but you know, if the people I've suggested, so Gabor Mate is all about how our emotions and our environment and the state of our mind affects our body and affects our life, and particularly he talks about addiction. I don't know if that's a particular flavour in this reading, it might be for a few of you. So if you haven't come across him, he is a lovely, gentle soul. But again, this doesn't feel, in January, it doesn't feel like a time to be plunging to the depths or suddenly discovering new things about yourself. Maybe just a few, maybe just very gently read little bits, only if you're really drawn to them. I think the message here is more about just have some peace for yourself and receive it. You know, receive when you sit by still waters, receive the amazing moon energy when you sit under a full moon or any moon. There's just, you know, peacefulness is coming, so let it in, basically, is what I'm saying. It needs to be able to get to you, so put yourself in positions where you can receive that peace. That was really, really beautiful. We're actually on time. I normally pick up just a couple more cards. Yeah, I will, I think. Okay, so your base card actually was community, very interestingly. Again, this is not about surrounding yourself with lots of, you know, manic, busy people, or certainly not toxic people. What this card is saying more, I think, just look at the image, it's just so warm and gorgeous, and, you know, the smiles, you can imagine a fire roaring away. There's the promise of, you know, springtime, if not summertime, through the window. There's exploring different religions. That's a very, also religions and spiritual paths, I should say, in this card as well. So I think, again, you were just very, very gently exploring and opening up to new ways. I think there's been a bit of a shift for you guys, or it's about to happen, of realizing that you can actually alter your mind and how it works, and that maybe for the first time, you're just coming to an awareness, an idea, the possibility that depression doesn't have to... Sorry guys, I just got interrupted there. So yeah, I feel there's a little additional message that Spirit really wants to get to you. Maybe you're just learning that your mind can actually be changed, and that you don't need to live with depression forever or on and off forever. It doesn't, you don't have to take it for granted anymore that that will always be with you, or anxiety, or just feeling a bit low or melancholic, and that you can actually be empowered and actually have quite a transformation. And it feels like you're just planting that seed now, going back to the seeds at the beginning. And that is so stunning. I'm going to leave it there because I think your mind doesn't need any more information anyway. We are at time. Just a beautiful reading. So group 4, thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. I hope this has just been a message of gentleness and love. Just open yourself up to every opportunity to be peaceful. Just be with how you feel as well. That's the quickest way to be peaceful. And I think January, actually, by the end of January, it's going to be a very beautiful time where you're going to understand a bit more about where this is heading. So if you feel a bit lost, don't worry. The message really is you are getting to some really, really beautiful places. All right, thank you so much, Group 4. This is a real pleasure to have time with you. And let me know if you resonated with this message and how your January goes. And I hope to see you for February.